Are you a Diablo fan like me? Have you just beaten Vessel of Hatred only to not kill Mephisto? And yeah, Dark Citadel's really cool, but the rest of the endgame is just more of the same. Do you have friends, or maybe you follow people on YouTube or Twitch who are constantly talking about Path of Exile? Maybe you heard that there's a sequel to Path of Exile coming, and so you might have thought, well, maybe I'll wait and check it out when the sequel hits. Well, the wait is almost over. Hello! I'm Exiled Erdrick, and I'm here to help you hit the ground running with Path of Exile 2. Cards on the table. My current rig and video editing software aren't handling this footage very well, so I'm going to be reusing a lot of the last video in this video. So if you've already watched that one, you won't need to watch this one. Though I will be targeting the information specifically at Diablo 4 players for this video.
Sir, just what are we facing here?
A relic of the old world. Ready your men, Captain.
Path of Exile 2 is an action RPG created by Grinding Gear Games out of New Zealand, and is the sequel to their surprise hit. The game is set in a dark fantasy world, highly inspired by real-world civilizations, especially New Zealand, Australia, the native islanders there, and the history, myths, and legends of the region. This has produced a setting unlike any other, where the human tragedy of the colonial world is mixed with bizarre magic and supernatural, even eldritch forces.
Run!
Central to Path of Exile is the cursed continent of Wraeclast. Many civilizations have tried to conquer this mysterious land. All have met with violent ends. 20 years ago, the land of Oriath tried to stake its claim to Wraeclast. The ensuing tragedy only ended when an exiled criminal joined forces with two gods of legend to defeat the vile Kitava. Now, the Iron Count of Ogum seems set to start the cycle of destruction anew. Delving into the forces of corruption in his search for power, the Count has gone mad, and is executing anyone that speaks against him. Having just escaped your own execution, you must now face the horrors of Wraeclast, with nothing but your skill and wits to aid you. Now, let's talk about classes. Path of Exile 2 has 12 planned classes, 6 of which have been revealed and confirmed for early access. Now, while each of these classes is represented by a unique character with unique voice lines and interactions, when it comes to gameplay, each class acts more as a template than the hard-to-find classes you're used to. While these classes have tools to specialize into different types of combat, any class can use any skill, ability, or piece of gear in the game. The main exception are ascendancies, which can only be accessed by specific classes. Each has 3 ascendancies, 2 of which will be available in early access, which will allow them to specialize even further. Still, it is completely possible to make a witch that tears into enemies with a massive maul, or a warrior that rips foes to pieces with bolts of lightning. Builds in Path of Exile 2 will consist of the following: chosen skill gems and support gems, your route through a massive passive skill tree, your ascendancy, and finally, the kind of gear you'll be looking for. In Path of Exile 2, most skills are granted by skill gems. As you explore the land of Wraeclast, you'll find uncut gems that can either be refined into these powerful items or used to further empower a skill gem you already have. Each skill gem represents a unique ability your character can now use to face the terrifying forces of Wraeclast. Everything from massive melee ground slams that spawn volcanic fissures, to calling down icy comets from the sky, to firing deadly grenades. But that's not all. Each of the larger skill gems has a number of sockets where you can place smaller support gems. You can find uncut support gems that allow you to craft these and use them to modify your skills. They will enhance their power or change how they work in various ways. For example, the multiple projectile support causes projectile attacks to split into 3 directions. But you'll have to be clever. as each type of support gem can only be socketed into a single skill on your character. And that's only the basics of the gem system. There are also gems that create special skills that strengthen your character, and gems that automatically execute your skills when you perform an action, such as calling down a firestorm when you set enough enemies on fire. By combining these different gems, you'll create a unique character capable of matching your ideal playstyle, whether it's smashing your way through foes with a weapon, raining death with arrows, or sending hordes of undead to rip your enemies apart. Next, you have Path of Exile's infamous passive skill tree, Skill Drossel. While the size of the tree can be daunting, Path of Exile 2 has many tools available to help guide you in your journey, from tooltips that tell you how your character will change when you select a skill, to clusters of skills being designed like constellations that represent weapons or magic you're trying to master. The skill tree consists of 4 types of skills of descending frequency and increasing effect on your character. Highway passives are how you travel along the tree from cluster to cluster. Each of these passives can be set to provide a bonus to the stat of your choosing. Then you have the small passives. These are found in thematically shaped clusters and provide a simple buff to your character, such as an increase of weapon damage or cast speed. Next, there are the notable passives. These powerful skills are the ones you'll want to seek out the most. They provide potent buffs to your character and can be found at the heart of each cluster. Finally, there are keystone passives. These combine a powerful buff with a specific drawback, meaning you'll have to be careful in how you build your character if you want to use them. But don't get too worried about making a mistake here. You can use your gold to respec your character, allowing you to more freely explore and experiment. You get a passive skill point every time you level up, but you can also find special books by doing quests or slaying powerful enemies. These books can be used to specialize into up to 2 passive skills at once, and will automatically switch between them as you switch between your 2 main weapons. You can tie your skill gems to your weapons as well, allowing you to significantly change your abilities on the fly. Now, let's talk about gear. Path of Exile 2 is more about finding the right mods to make your build even more powerful than it is about finding best-in-slot gear. Rather than trying to find the next best version of a specific unique item, you'll be trying to find, craft, or trade for items that have more or better versions of mods on them. This doesn't mean there won't be a unique item or two that really improves your build, or is designed to be built around. But don't be surprised when the best item for a slot turns out to be a rare. Crafting in Path of Exile 2 is designed around special currency orbs that drop in the game. Each orb randomly upgrades the item in a tiered fashion. There are some deterministic systems, such as specific items called essences, but most upgrades will add a new random mod to your item. Transmutes add a mod to a normal item and make it magic. Augments add a second mod. Regals add a third, and to make it rare. Then, Exalts can add more mods up to a total of 6. Finally, when you're ready to risk your creation, you can use a Vol Orb to unpredictably alter it. This can significantly increase its power, or it can ruin it. And that's just the basic upgrade chain. There are other items you can use to further refine your crafting. Finally, let's talk about the campaign. While there will be some choice-based moments, Path of Exile 2's campaign is a more classic, linear experience than Diablo 4's, and is planned for 6 acts. Travel through Wraeclast as you seek to bring down the Iron Count and stop the Seed of Corruption. As you do, you'll encounter over 100 completely unique boss encounters. Many of these bosses are optional, but provide powerful rewards if you seek them out. 3 of the acts will be available in early access, and upon completion, you can then attempt them in a higher difficulty, similar to Nightmare in Diablo 2. Complete this more difficult version of the story, and you'll gain access to Path of Exile 2's extensive endgame. Explore the Atlas, an infinite world full of deadly threats and incredible riches. Use waystones to travel to map locations, overcome the challenges there, and expand your reach into the Atlas. Find ancient towers and use their power to reveal the surrounding area, and alter the encounters and rewards available. Seek out the strange forces and factions laying claim to the Atlas. Overcome them, claim their power as your own, and prove your skills and strength against their leaders, the most challenging and rewarding bosses in the game. And if you find an endgame activity you really enjoy, rest assured that completing it lets you use a special Atlas tree to empower it further, making those encounters more frequent, more challenging, and, of course, even more rewarding. As Mark Roberts said,
This is Path of Exile. There is always another tree.
Additionally, Grinding Gear Games hosts challenge leagues every 3 months or so. These are similar to Diablo seasons, but each one comes with completely new content and new challenges to overcome. Additionally, this content often goes core and continues to be available in future leagues. I hope everything I said has you excited to try this all-new action RPG experience. But if it hasn't, please let me know in the comments below what kind of features you look for most in an action RPG, and what you're enjoying most about Diablo 4 right now. And please, like and subscribe, leave a comment below, do all of those things that YouTube likes to help me with this video project. And I hope you'll join me in exploring this new action RPG. Path of Exile 2 launches into paid early access on December 6th, with a full free-to-play release to come in 2025. I'm Exiled Erdrick, and I can't wait to see you all in Wraeclast.